Now, was it taboo to masturbate for you, like growing up? You know, like to play with yourself? Was that ever an issue?
So I used to play with myself, but when I got older and I found out what comes with it, I stopped.
What comes with it?
Yeah. I don't want people to think I'm crazy.
No, we want to know.
But it's there. You know, when you masturbate, you're having sex with a sex demon, like, you know.
Really? I never heard that.
Pull it up on your phone. It's a sex demon called incubus. Incubus and succubus. So you have a male sex demon and a female sex demon.
Okay.
So when you masturbate, you're having sex with a male sex demon.
Wow.
What's wrong with
and
that?
it also will be in a relationship with you and cause problem in your actual relationship.
Is that
demon
master? I have a problem in my actual relationship, but I masturbate a lot.
Yeah, my love. You have to look about them.
Oh, here we go. It's on Twitter. Masturbation is sex with demons. It defiles and destroys your body.
To Satan and sex.
I think you could find anything you want to find on the internet, though, because we could find the exact opposite.
No, but if you Google and
what about a sex angel?
Sex angel. Well, I read up on it a lot, so I'm a big on reader. Read up on it. It's called incubus and succubus or something like that.
I'm so interested in this now.
I feel like I've seen some incubus and succubus porn.
Succubus, yeah, it's a sex demon that really, literally will have sex with you, fall in love with you, everything, and it will mash up your relationship. So when your man have sex with you, it causes
because they get jealous.
Yes, it says it's masturbating really open.
Yeah. Well, I'm in trouble.
Oh, Mr. Tyrone. I just gotta get freaky for you because you love the hoes.
I don't care if they don't like me. I came here to stunt. Yeah. I don't care if they don't.
Well, what's good, everybody? If you're a first time viewer of my content or this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. So, Miss Spice here, you know, mind you, her music, if anything, is the most vulgar in the Caribbean that I have ever heard.
Pum pum power, this a pum pum power. Pat up your pum have power.
So,
Pat your pum have power. Pum have power. Pum fresh from out of the shower. This a pum full up of power.
Spice, you're the sex demon. I'm definitely sure you're the sex demon. I mean, what? Break out the pum pum.
You know what me pum.
I mean, you're. I understand where she's coming from, kinda, because growing up in a very strict Christian household, I always had this confliction on self-pleasure. So growing up, I used to think that, you know, they will always say that if you partake in lust, you're committing adultery and you're sinning against God and all these sexual sins and all this type of stuff, right? So I will always feel guilty after pleasuring myself growing up in middle school, you know, and I would just feel so, I would beat myself down, yo. I'm talking about, like, after, I ain't gonna say what I was looking at, but sometimes I would try to pass by. Sometimes I'll be like, well, at least she got clothes on. At least she's on Disneyland. Well, she wasn't really doing too much. She just winked. It was ridiculous. The measures that I would leap just to try. Well, you know, at least it wasn't a porn site. You know, it was YouTube, and if it was on YouTube, at least it wasn't. This time it wasn't a sex scene. It was a dance scene, and the lengths that I would go to justify and try and make it seem like it was any better than going on a porn site or going on a P site. It's beyond me. Then I woke up, and then I gave up Christianity, and then I gave up the Bible. And, you know, after that, I let loose. But when you're dealing with, like, Negroes, black people, a lot of us, some of us, we get very spooked. We get very spooked out when it concerns sexuality. Of all the things in the world that we do, of all the things that we participate in. And you have black people in this day and age who are getting into the astrology, the crystals, spirituality, all this type of stuff. But whenever it comes to sexuality, that's where we want to draw the line. That's where we always have these conspiracies and all this other type of stuff. It's like when people talk about soul ties, there is no such thing as a soul tie at all. Your soul can't be tied or bound or attached to another soul. Your body, maybe. You maybe can mentally be attached. You may can physically, emotionally be attached. But your soul is eternal. Your soul can't be attached to 10 different souls. Your soul doesn't break apart and it's all, it's in somebody else. You can be spiritually drained. Your spirit can drain and transmit to another person. You can receive power, receive spirit from other people, but your soul is eternal. Your soul will always be intact with yourself and with your body. Believing that whenever you please yourself, you're having intercourse with demons is no more than believing in the boogeyman. A lot of people just have to get out of these conspiracies and these speculations about themselves, and they have to come to an understanding of who they truly are. You have to understand that there is more to life than what you've been taught concerning this religious aspect of, sexuality and the religious aspect of being bound to one person. Now, I'm not telling you to go out there and go willy-nilly. I'm not telling you to go out there, run wild and free and yellow and, be a city girl or a city boy, whatever the case may be. But you have to understand that you can play it safe. You can live your life to the best of your ability, and you can live your life the way that you want to and still be intact with the God within, still be intact with God or whatever the case may be. People do it all the time. And I think a lot of people, they fear this concept of Judgment Day. They fear this concept of hell, or they fear the concept of not getting themselves right with God or whatever the case is. You're God. You're trying to get right with God, but you're God. You're walking on this earth and you don't even understand who you truly are. If God wants to please themselves in the middle of the night, on their couch, on their full size, queen size, king size bed, God can do that. If God wants to go out there and have a roster of men or a roster of women, God can do that. You have to understand the power that you have. And just because you have the liberation to do that, like I said, let me give out these disclaimers. Just because you have the ability to do that doesn't mean that you should do that. Everybody lives a different life. If you can play that role and you want to play that game of being a 304 or being the succubus or the incubus, then you can do that. Not everybody can play that role though, and it's not for the weak. But you have the ability to do that because each archetype, whether it's being the prostitute or being the macho man or the pimp or the Mac Daddy or being somebody, when it comes to walking that left-hand path is by all means, it's still the same thing applies to being the teacher, being the one who's loyal and the husband and all this type of stuff. Everything goes hand in hand. All these different archetypes, as above, so below, as within, so without. All the good archetypes and the bad archetypes, you need them both in order to live your life. Being deviant, being beasts, being all this type of stuff, right? We always talk about going beast mode and being on demon time. All these terms that we come up with and that we talk about nowadays, it's the same thing. The same thing applies to anything else that concerns sexuality and spirituality. Anyways, stop getting spooked out. Enjoy these next videos.